Okay, so kind of running on this whole finance sort of train here, we're going to be keep on going with the mortgages, but we're going to talk about a little bit of something different topic here. Instead of down payments, we're going to be talking about the frequency of your mortgage payments here. So we're going to take the same two people as last time, same house. We're talking about the same type of mortgage, same interest rate, compounded semi-annually. We're going to go with the $62,500 down payment since we know that that is the smarter choice to do, if that's something that we can do. So it is, so they're going to go with it. But this time we are going to compare two things. We're going to compare semi-monthly and bi-weekly. So this is going to be our two things. You remember from last time, it was a monthly mortgage rate, and they figured out that having a down payment of $62,500 was better overall than having a lesser down payment. So now we're going to be looking at different types of frequencies of payments. So once again, kind of like in standard financial questions, we're going to be kind of breaking it down into two kind of scenarios. We'll do the semi-monthly over here first, and we'll kind of break down everything there. So let's use our TVM solver. So we're just going to write down all of our work for it. Kind of gets a little repetitive, but this is how we show our work for these questions, and you definitely have to make sure that you write these down because that's going to be the inputs that I can verify with afterwards. For a couple things that we need, interest rate is going to be the same, prime plus 2, and prime is 3%, so 5. It's compounded semi-annually, so 2. We're going to go semi-monthly, which means that it's going to be 2 times a month. If monthly was 12, then semi-monthly would be 24 times per year. And that's going to make our end value 24 times per year multiplied by 15 years. Those two values are always tied together. We're going to end up solving for our PMT, our semi-monthly rate. We want our future value to be 0. We want the mortgage to be paid off. And we know that the present value is going to be $250,000 minus their down payment, which they know that this is going to be the best down payment for them. So that's what we're going to put in our TVM solver. So let's go ahead and, we'll start from scratch here. Apps, Finance, TVM solver, we're here. We'll go 24 multiplied by 15. You can see that I've already kind of done an example in this one. We already have 5 there. We already have our PV value, 250,000 minus 62. I've already kind of done these calculations, but just to show you that everything is kind of legit there. And we are going to go ahead and solve. And we're going to get that our PMT value in this case. Let's go back. There we go. Our PMT value in this case is going to be $738.11. This is going to be the semi-monthly rate. Usually these are done as monthly rates, but this is, again, what they pay twice a month because it's semi-monthly. So let's go ahead and let's figure out some other things here. Let's calculate the mortgage costs. So let's go total mortgage costs. We're going to be calculating the payment amount. We're going to be figuring out the interest paid and the final costs as well. So we're just going to basically do everything that we can for this question. It's always nice to just kind of get all the information and take a look at it afterwards anyways. So total mortgage costs, we're going to be taking their semi-monthly payment. We're going to be multiplying that by how many times they do that per year times by how many years they're doing this for. So that's going to be times 360. Let's go back into our home screen here. Just going to clear this off. We got 738.11 multiplied by 360. And we're going to get this is going to be $265,716. So that's going to be their total monthly cost, or mortgage cost, sorry. We're going to figure out the amount of interest that they have, and we're going to do that just the nice little interest calculation here, which is 1,360. I think we're going to do it the easy method here. We'll do interest, and this is going to be equals interest 1,360, and this is going to be found to be $78,280 $18.12. And then their total costs altogether is, of course, going to be what they have from the mortgage. So what they owe on the mortgage plus their down payment. $62,500. And this would include the interest and all that kind of stuff as well. So let's go 265,716 plus 62,500. Let's get another zero in there. And we got our total cost of the home after down payment and after everything was $328,216. So it should be quite similar to what we had from before with that same down payment, but slightly less, just slightly. Let's go ahead and let's do biweekly now. So that was our semi-monthly allocation of total mortgage cost, interest, total cost. Let's now compare that, and let's do this with biweekly. Biweekly means twice a week, so that's kind of what we're looking at here. So let's do our biweekly calculation now. Same thing. Everything is identical as it was before, except we are just going to be changing around our our PMT is going to be changing, but also our P over Y is going to be changing as well. I should put my FV in there first. FV, we got P over Y and C over Y. Okay, so everything else is the same, so I'm just going to kind of copy down a couple things for us. We know that I is 5, C over Y is 2. If our future value is 0, our PV, I'm just going to go and cheat for a second. So apps, finance, since I know it's the same, I'm just going to put that value down on it. So 187,500. Our PMT, we're going to solve for that one. And here we go. So P over Y, it's 2 times, it's bi-weekly, which means 1 time every 2 weeks, rather. So if there is 52 weeks in a year, then bi-weekly would mean that we are having 26 payments every year. So semi-monthly means twice a month. Bi-weekly, these things are a little confusing sometimes, but bi-weekly means that it's going to be once every 2 weeks. And that's kind of what the schedule that we're looking at here. So our end value is going to be 26, the amount of payments in 1 year, multiplied by the 15 years. So we're going to just pop this into our TBM solver and see what happens here. So instead of 360, because that was our old one, we're going to take 26 times 15. Our interest rate is exactly the same. Our PV value is exactly the same. Our PMT will change. We'll have to come back and solve that. FV is the same, but P over Y is going to be 26. So this is 2 more payments per year, which over 15 years is going to be 30 more payments altogether. But let's kind of see what happens to our P over Y value, or our PMT value. So it does drop a little bit here, which is expected. But let's see what that's going to do to the other things. So their once every 2 week payment, or bi-weekly, is going to be $681.27. Let's go ahead and let's calculate a couple things like we did from before. So let's go and calculate our total mortgage costs. We're going to take our biweekly amount, 681.27. We're going to multiply that by how many times they pay that per year, so 26. And we're going to multiply that by 15, how many years they're doing this for. Let's go back to our values. Let's take 681.27 multiplied by 26 multiplied by 15. And we're going to get our total mortgage costs are going to be $265,695.3 or 30 cents. Let's go take a brief look up and let's see what the total costs were up there. Well, very, very similar. We can see slightly, just slightly, yes. We're talking less. We're talking like less than hundreds of dollars here. $658 versus $716, so less than $100 difference. Kind of cool. Let's go ahead and let's calculate our interest. We should do our cheat again. So this would be 1,390. So let's go ahead and let's calculate apps, finance, all the way down to our interest, 1, comma 390. That would be our last, very, very last payment. And we'll see that our interest rates here give us $78,197.08. Well, let's kind of compare that a little bit up here. Still 78, but you know, slightly less. Very, very minute amount of difference. Still a little bit of less interest paid. So we should expect our total cost is going to be just a tad lower as well. Total cost. We'll take how much mortgage they paid over this entire time frame, and we'll add on the $62,500 onto it for that down payment. Let's take our mortgage amount after 15 years of what they paid, plus, and we'll see that their total cost of their home after mortgage is done, and we take into account the down payment. So again, basically the same amount of money, but we can see that it's just a couple of dollars less. You can see a couple dollars less, 216 versus 195. Would it make a big difference? Absolutely not. It's really what would work well on a schedule. Bi-weekly tends to be when people get paid. That's usually a schedule. Semi-monthly does happen. For instance, I'm on semi-monthly. I get paid twice a month, not once every 2 weeks. A lot of people get those sort of confused, or they don't understand what the difference is between them. But in this case, the mortgage really wouldn't matter too much in that you would pay slightly less in terms of our biweekly. However, you're paying 2 more times per year, if that kind of makes sense. So it kind of works itself out. In the end, the interest is lower and the total cost is lower. However, we're not really seeing as dramatic as a change as we did when we saw that the down payment was nearly doubled. When we had our down payment as $37,000, that was a very big change versus the $62,000. But this semi-monthly to bi-weekly is not that big of a change. If you go back to the other video, you'll see that to monthly to semi-monthly would be a bigger change. I'll bet not terribly, not too much. You still would make more of a significant change paying semi-monthly rather than monthly, but between bi-weekly and semi-monthly, not too big of a change there. So I guess that kind of clears up this one here. If you can pay more frequently, you will get more, you will occur less interest and your total cost will be lower. However, there's not going to be too much of a difference between something like semi-monthly and bi-weekly, but there will be a little bit of a difference between something like monthly and semi-monthly, or monthly and bi-weekly. So keeping that in mind when we take a look at mortgages later.